Yes, welcome along to Good Morning Dublin, live from Leopardstown for day one of the Dublin Racing Festival. And it's a glorious morning here in South Dublin. And joining myself, David Jennings, to preview all the action on day one of the Dublin Racing Festival is Paul Keeley, Ruby Walsh and Johnny Deneen. And by the sounds of things, Paul Keeley, you are very lucky to get here this morning because you had an interesting taxi.
I'm back to winner already. I'm still alive after spending 30 minutes in the car with Johnny Deneen.
Talk to me about Johnny's driving.
Well, let's just say he lives out in the sticks, and I'm not sure he understands what traffic lights mean. Good Lord, I mean, going through one how far? I can't tell you how far away we were from it when it went red, but yeah.
You got here.
Scary stuff.
Scary stuff. Scary start today. Can only get better. Johnny, you're used to spending your Saturdays at home, nice and cosy on the couch, only getting up at about 11 o'clock.
I know, I'm up earlier than 11 o'clock now. Jeez,
sorry, Johnny, sorry.
You just don't get dressed until midnight.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. No, but
it's a different Saturday for you.
He's back to winner.
A different Saturday for you.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. We came up last evening because it would have been too early to come this morning, you know what I mean? So I'd have to be here.
And you had a visitor with you in the car?
My missus came with me, yeah. She's back in the room, so she's still asleep. So the longer she stays asleep, the less she can spend.
Ruby, great to have you with us. I know it's a really busy weekend for you, but a terrific weekend.
Hopefully it will be anyway, David. It looks to me, it has the makings of a terrific weekend on paper, so hopefully it delivers. Look, 7 great races today, 8 crackers tomorrow, competitive, some really good grade ones thrown in. Yeah, it pretty much has everything, doesn't it? I
remember being at the launch in the Guinness Storehouse, I think was it 2018, and you were the poster boy trying to sell the Dublin Racing Festival. I think it has lived up to expectations, hasn't it? It
has. Look, to me, for the Dublin Racing Festival to be a success, it was the amalgamation of 3 good meetings, so it had to be better. And what was better going to be? So to me, better was Leopardstown hanging a sold-out sign on the gate. This place, 17,500, 2 days on the trot, and everybody here enjoying himself, and the customer had to be enjoying himself and enjoying it. Last year, unfortunately, there was too many here on the Saturday, and the customer didn't enjoy it. So this year could be a little bit of a rebuild on that front. But I think with the quality of racing and with it being an all-ticket event, I think the customers that come today will have a better day. And next year it'll be better again. Absolutely. If you can come racing to Leopardstown, do come. It's absolutely glorious. The sun is splitting the stones outside, so what better day to come racing. So before we get stuck into the action, we haven't been with you in the Good Morning Show since Ascot, okay? So we're going to have a highlight of the jump season so far. It's been a terrific season. Many big showdowns, including Constitution Hill against Lossiemouth at Kempton over Christmas. But we're going to get the lads' highlight of the jump season so far. And we'll kick off with you, Johnny Deneen.
Look, there's been some great stuff during the winter, but the one thing that really took the wow factor to me was the new line winning the Challow Hurdle in Newbury on was it New Year's Eve, is it, or is it around the 30th of December, whatever date it is?
That wouldn't be New Year's Eve then, Jim.
No, but not in around that area.
31st usually.
Is it, yeah?
Every so often it is the 31st.
I'd say. But anyway, look, he just won with such a swagger that you wouldn't expect a horse to win a Grade 1 in that manner. Like, I just have a feeling that he's at that stage I'd have said, this is a special horse. Now you could say the English form isn't, you could pick holes in that, but then I was thinking afterwards, like the year Constitution Hill won the Supreme Novices Hurdle, there was no English horse placed in any of the other like novices, the 2 mile, 2.5 or the 3 mile race. So there is a chance that the new line is as good as he looked in Newbury. Like, he just, like, very rarely would you see a horse to win a Grade 1 without coming off the bridle at the same time. And you didn't back him that day, so I want a punting highlight. Is there one day in the season so far that kind of you're in profit, I know, for 2025. Was there one day that made you be in profit? I suppose, look, I bet every day of the week, so then again, it's hard to single out one day, but I don't really back big price horses much, so I suppose... Really? No, not a lot, but if I do hit one, it probably sticks out in the memory. I had something on that Grania, Cree and Clonmel, but look, I rarely back 6 and 10 to 1 chances or that kind of thing, so if I do happen to land on one, it does leave an indelible mark, you should say, I suppose.
Yeah, he's very modest, but he did really fancy that Grania Cree that day at Clonmel. So well done. Ruby, highlight of the jump season so far? I think moving the John Durkin from December back into November at Punchestown has been one of the better moves horse racing has had in many years, and I thought the John Durkin was a brilliant race. Fast or slow, Gallop in the Champs, Balance, Tower, Fact to File. I just thought it was a brilliant race early in the season. Whet the appetite, hasn't quite lived up since. Balance Tower was disappointing at Kempton. Gallop in the Champ put Fact to File in his box here, and poor Fast or Slow has gotten injured. But I think as a starting point for a season, I thought it was magic, and I thought it was
it's a really good move putting that race earlier in November. You had a brilliant Chavez chase. We're going to have round 3 here at Leopardstown this afternoon. You'll have the Cheltenham Gold Cup, and then you'll have Punchestown, where it'll all be decided or all rounded up. So I just think there's the 5 points for a chaser, and I think it's a great starting point. Yeah,
and even the atmosphere that day really echoed the race. It was a terrific day that day at Punchestown. And for you, Keels, the last 6 months or so, what's been your highlight?
Well, I'd say seeing 2 crack novices go head-to-head over fences very early in the season doesn't happen that often, especially not in Britain. But with Ballyburn coming over and taking on Sergino, and Sergino looking like an absolute superstar, we'll find out just how good he is when we see what Ballyburn does this weekend. But I thought that was fantastic.
Johnny is not a believer in Ballyburn. Are you?
I'm not necessarily, no.
OK. So you'll be taking him on tomorrow?
It might be.
OK, there you go. That is a quick look at the lads' highlights of the jump season so far. And before we get stuck into the action here at Leopardstown for day 1 of the Dublin Racing Festival, let's have a look at what's coming up at Cheltenham. Of course, Cheltenham is never far from our minds in the Paddy Power Fan Zone.
Power's Cheltenham Fan Zone is back on Friday, March the 14th at the Camden in Dublin. Tickets are on sale now at universe.com.
The big punting survey is back. Punters, it's time to have your voice heard on major betting issues. Plus, you'll automatically be entered into a prize draw for one of 5 £50 Amazon vouchers. Visit racingpost.com/BPS or scan the QR code to take the survey today.
I could see you in the thick of that fan zone during Cheltenham, being lifted high in the air. That looks like your kind of thing, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't really know, to be honest.
No
I'd
was
want
the
to be
answer.
after hitting a few winners now before we
You're the only sober person there, wouldn't you?
So there you go. It is the Camden for the Paddy Power Fan Zone. If you're not going to Cheltenham, if you're in Dublin for the Cheltenham Festival, get yourself down to the Camden. And on the Paddy Power team, if you're a Paddy Power customer today, there's some great offers, I have to say, for day 1 of the Dublin Racing Festival featuring the Paddy Power Gold Cup. You've got a free bet in your account. Go have a look. You've got a free bet to place at Leopardstown today. And if you opt in, you can be assigned a jockey. And if that jockey rides a winner today at Leopardstown, you get a free bet as well. So maybe some might land on Paul Townend, and you could get a couple of free bets potentially. So that is for Paddy Power customers. Have a look at your account. So we're going to kick off with the first race of the Dublin Racing Festival. It's the Nathaniel, Lacy and Partner Solicitors Novice Hurdle. It's at 1:20, and this is the big mover of the morning. Final demand now 11 to 10, 7 to 4 when you went to bed last night. Now 11 to 10 final demand. Super Sunday is 11 to 2. Jasmine DeVoe 8 to 1. Sounds Victorious 9 to 1. Wingmen is 12 to 1 along with Mozzie's sister, and it's 14 to 1 bar. Ruby Walsh, we have to start with you. We've only got one proper glimpse of final demand at Limerick at Christmas. How good is he?
He looks very good, David, didn't he? Obviously, he was getting the £8 allowance because he'd never run in it, but he didn't win a bump. He never ran it once. He was hardly going to win one. But he jumped brilliantly. I loved the way he jumped. Every time he saw a hurdle coming, he just wanted to go faster, and he absolutely pinged him. I rode him the other morning. I actually couldn't believe he was by walking the park. He's the most walking the park I've ever sat on.
What does that mean?
Like Duvan, Min, Facile, Vega, most walking the parks are buzzy and forward going, this fella's big and relaxed. And I was, actually, it was young Thomas Costello was beside me, and he convinced me. I was thinking he'd know more about pedigrees than me. He convinced me he was walking the park, but he is over Flemingsfort mare, and he's much more Flemingsfort than he is walking the park. So, look, he's a big, relaxed individual. He jumps brilliantly. He's not Flash Harry at home, but he does exactly what he does, the same thing every day, and he was a much better horse when he went to the track. So they're the kind of maybe the ones you want.
It's a big ask, obviously, going from a maiden hurdle at Limerick over Christmas straight into a Grade 1. I know a lot of them are in the same boat, but what you're after saying there makes me think that he has the temperament for a race like this, does he?
I think he has the temperament. Looking at him, the way he jumped in Limerick, jumping wouldn't be a concern for you. That's usually what you'd be kind of, to me, I'd be thinking you go up in grade, you go up in tempo, will they be able to handle the jumping? I think he most certainly will. He looked a pure natural. It's a bit further today than the last day, obviously a better race, but he ticked every box, David, at Limerick, and he's hard to oppose. Paul likes him, and yeah, the price is not my forte, lads. That's up to you to decide whether he's too short or he's value. But he's a good horse and he's in good form.
This is going to be interesting now because, you know, they're never too short for you, Johnny Deneen. Doesn't matter what they are, you will back them if you fancy them. Is 11 to 10 now slightly on the drift out to 6 to 5, as you can see on our screen? Is that too short for Final Demand?
Yeah, look, I think when a short price favourite should hit you immediately. Do you know what I mean? When you look at a race, you say, geez, that'll win. Do you know what I mean? But when you look at Final Demand, you don't get that instant impression, to me anyway, that he's a good bit to answer to win a race like this. OK, he won in Limerick and he was awesome, impressive. Of course he was. Jumping was fantastic. Did everything right. Looked a really, really good horse. Form of the race has worked out as well. Do you know what I mean? So you couldn't fault him on that. But this is surely a deeper race. Now, I would say one thing. If there is a real top horse in it, it's Final Demand, I'd say. To be honest, really, really, like, could he be capable of going back and trip, if anything, I'd say, if anything, rather than slugging out at 3 mile, which some of these horses probably going to be better at even going up and trip. But look, he's the one I'd be very much in the... Would I want to back him? No, but would I want to lay him either? I'm not so sure. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's 6 to 5 for a I don't really fancy Super Sunday, to be honest, myself. I just think that he was pretty well beaten by the yellow clay in Naas, and that kind of form, I just don't think that should be good enough to win a race like this. Jasmine DeVoe has questions to answer. Jumping wise sounds victorious. Now
here we go, Johnny, right? Yeah. So people who do watch Up in the Ante will know that Sounds Victorious is one of the loves of your life.
Yeah.
Can you see him winning this race?
Look, I can see him running really well anyway, but whether he's good enough to win it or not, I don't know. Like a classy horse like Final Demand will take out Sounds Victorious for sure, I'd imagine. You know, if he's as good as he looked in Limerick, I think Sounds Victorious will be better going up again in trip. 3 miles and even less strong. 3 miles is probably what he's going to suit him best. I think he has a good place chance. I think I'd nearly rather have something on him than back the fair. Look, I'm not saying the fair won't win, but he's one of quite a few favourites on the day on this card that don't appeal to me as bets.
OK. Is it likely you mightn't have a bet at all in the first race?
It's very likely, yeah.
OK.
Yeah.
Paul Cayley, will you?
I don't know, to be honest. I mean, you know, the way I look at races is probably a little bit different than Johnny is. Identify the favourite and then find out whether you can take it on. And, you know, when the horse has only run once, you think to yourself, well, there must be a chance I can take this on, can't you? But then you look into the form, and he's absolutely gagged up when he won at Limerick, and the second and third have come out and won just as easily since, running pretty reasonable figures as well. And you think, well, if he's that good against them, he could be different class, couldn't he?
He could.
And that's the thing. I actually thought Super Sunday had probably finished second. I think he's got the best form in the race as things stand. OK, he was well held by the yellow clay, but the others have got to step up. Just something about the others. I didn't actually see anything that I thought was superstar. You know what I mean?
OK. Yeah. So your selection is?
The selection is the Fav. Not sure I'll back it, but I think Super Sunday will be in the first 3 for an each way bet.
You're with the Fav as well, Ruby?
I think the Fav is the most likely winner, David. Yeah, I do think Sounds Victorious though will keep plugging away. I'd agree with Johnny. He'd be a better horse when he goes to 3 miles. Jasmine DeVoe, I'd say he's having nightmares about hurdles. He's jumped that many of them in the last fortnight. And we were talking about it last night. You know, before they put in the extra hurdle in the back straight because of the sun, they've added a hurdle to the back straight here. There wasn't as big an emphasis on jumping, but now there's 2 either side of the road and they do come at you quite quickly.
Really?
So I think that could be an issue for Jasmine DeVoe.
And is it just, like, can you remember even when he started school, and did he just hate it from day one?
No, he doesn't hate it. He's fine once he's getting in short or he's absolutely spot on. But it's that stride that's about a metre that he's outside spot on, where he has to move his feet quick and the message doesn't seem to come from his brain quick enough for his feet to move. It's where he has to meet it on that stride for it to go wrong. He did the Naas, was the 4th last hurdle, the one straight across in the stands. The 5th last, and it took him 5 minutes to jump it. But when he gets on that stride, he's just very, very awkward.
Johnny, are you with Sounds Victorious for the purposes of the show?
Yeah, I'm going to chance him each way. I mean, if you think a horse has a chance in the Albert Bartley, he has to have a chance of being in the first 3 in a race like this. He still managed to finish 4th in a 2 mile bumper, champion bumper at Cheltenham, and at a mile shorter than he should be. Tell me this, Ruby, you know when you say you put another hurdle in, did they take one out somewhere else?
No, they've added it in case they have to take out the last hurdle. So there's still the required number of jumps in the race.
OK. So there'll be an extra hurdle here if there's no... It
was in at Christmas as well, Johnny. Instead of being 3 hurdles in the back straight, there's now 4.
OK.
So they've put in an extra one in case that sun, which is glaring into our eyes now, spins around here in front of the last hurdle, so there's one out, because that actually only left them with 7 hurdles in a 2 mile hurdle race.
OK.
So that's an extra one in the back, so you had to.
And what differences? I actually think missing the last hurdle makes an awful difference to her actual race.
Huge, yeah. Especially here at Leopardstown.
Even from a punting point of view, I hate, you know, if you're on something, especially at probably shortish odds, same in like places like Doncaster, you say, oh, they're missing all the 3 hurdles, and this is like, you don't want to be on. You don't want to be on anyway. You know what I mean?
It's a completely different race.
And it turns into more of a stamina test. Is that right?
Of course it does. You go people quick and go faster earlier because you don't have to save a bit of energy for that last jump. So people do tend to get racing earlier. In Leopardstown, they go from the second last hurdle. It's a long way from their home. So yeah, that last hurdle being omitted does make a difference. Now that sun, we were somewhere last week. I was in Cheltenham last Saturday doing the opening show, and it was the same thing. But by the afternoon, the cloud had come in, and it wasn't an issue. So hopefully, wherever the clouds are,
you wouldn't want to be jumping anything at the moment. We can't see a thing.
Well, you can, but look, there's no jump in Leopardstown facing the direction that is now.
Course,
it's only when it moves right around in front of the stands.
Okay, there we go. So we'll see what the sun does later on, but it's glaring at the moment. And that is your opening race of the Dublin Racing Festival. 2 votes for final. Oh, Gills. We have a faller. It's the low sun, Gills. It's the low sun is in your eyes.
It's the driving. He's still rattling from driving.
Moving on to the second race, and it is the 225. It is it's the 150. It is the Gannon City Recovery and Recycling Services Juvenile Hurdle. And we have another Willie Mullins train favourite, this time in the shape of St. Lucy at 15 to 8. Hello Neighbours 2 to 1. 130 Lady Vega Allen, and it is 14 to 1 Galileo Dame. Sunny Bill is 16 to 1. 22 to 1 Willie de Huel, who has been disappointing. Wendrock 25 to 1, and it is 28 to 1 Bar. So Johnny Deneen, St. Lucy, your weekend could depend on this filly, could it?
Well, it won't depend on her entirely, but I think she's a very good chance. I was going to back her anyway, to be honest. Yeah, she's about the price she probably should be. Look, Hello Neighbour and Lady Vega, and there was very little between them here, obviously, at Christmas. So my reasoning is if St. Lucy's better than one of them, she'd probably be better than both of them. You know what I mean? There shouldn't be a lot between those 2 horses again. She did win really well, and admittedly it was a maiden hurdle, and these horses have graded for him. But there's probably not a lot of difference between some of these, a good maiden hurdle at times, and the quality-wise, and like Hello Neighbour was first time out as well. Look,
what did you see from St. Lucy at Punchestown that you really liked?
It's one with a swagger, a kind of a Vauban kind of swagger, if you know what I mean, that kind of thing. I just think it like we were kind of waiting for something to come out of the shadows in Ireland in this division, and she kind of emerged from the shadows, I presume, whatever you like to call it. Look, I just have a feeling that if she beat one, she'll beat both. I don't see her dividing the pair. I think that there's every chance, and like the form of the race. If anyone wants to back into St. Louis, I ain't going to back her actually until I'm going to have a look at Lucas Tipple. It's running in the 142 in Musselburgh. It's 8 minutes before. And that, I wouldn't like to see that.
This is precision, isn't it?
Go on, yeah.
I wouldn't like to see that falling out of the back of the telly in Musselburgh now myself. I thought it ran well against Pure Steel in Cork, who was a good horse in his own right. Lucas Tipple kept it honest all the way up the straight. Like, at least St. Lucy's form is going to get a little bit of a litmus test anyway. It's 8 minutes before. So if Lucas Tipple did happen to win or finish first or second,
the race is starting 8 minutes before.
Yes,
you want to be on your toes.
Oh, it'll be. You'd have plenty of time to bet. It's 4 minutes 146. You have another 4 minutes to make your mind up at the same time. It don't take that long to have a bet. But I'll just keep an eye on. I'm going to keep an eye on St. Lucy, and look, like if Lucas Tipple happened to win easy, and I think it has a good chance, I'd probably have a bit more than St. Lucy here today.
And you know, during the week, obviously, St. Lucy was 5 to 2. She was at one stage the outsider of the 3 main ones here. People are going to be watching the show and they'll be saying, Johnny, she was 5 to 2 during the week, now she's now into 15 to 8. You're waiting until a couple of minutes before the off. Why would you not take an earlier price, given you fancied her earlier on in the week?
Because first of all, I can't get a lot on at 5 to 2 earlier in the week, and the second thing is there's more of pieces of the jigsaw if I can have a peep at the one in Musselburgh as well to have a look and see. Like, I don't mind taking 7 to 4 yokes that were 5 to 2 to finish if I think that all the ducks are in a row.
Yeah, okay. So if that horse where is the race in?
The 142 in Musselburgh.
If that bolts up,
I'd be having a little extra in St. Lucy. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the very best of luck, Johnny.
Okay,
that'd be a nice little double. How good is St. Lucy, Ruby?
She looks good. David's no doubt about it. A straightforward filly at home. Looks like she's improved fitness-wise from Punchestown. But she's a nice, relaxed filly and gave Paul a really good feel in Punchestown, and he's gone for her over the others.
Would you, if you were still riding?
I actually haven't ridden. The only one I've ridden was Lady Vega Allen. I rode Sunny Bill actually as well a good while ago. I thought he was a nice horse. Really liked her actually, and I think she'll have improved a good bit from Christmas. I'd said Paul has to go for one of them, but I like Lady Vega Allen the morning I sat on her, and I think she's improved for Christmas. And again, depending if she got out as far as 4 to 1, could she?
Oh, she's heading that way, yeah.
Yeah, I think she'd be.
She's very weak on the exchanges this morning. Yeah,
there's 8 runners. I think she'll be in the 3. I think she'll get out to an each way price, and that'd interest me.
Another couple of strides, she almost would have been there, I think, at Christmas.
And we couldn't see it, so like obviously, I did ask Sean O'Keefe. He said that's just the only hurl I missed was the last. And we couldn't see it. He said he missed the last. So like, I'll take him for his word, and that's the difference between winning and losing. And then again, it wasn't a quickly run race. Keith Donoghue was right up behind the front runner. Lady Vega Allen was back, was having her first run. She was back on the inside. She had a bit of running to do to get to Hello Neighbour. So like, I think she can get by Hello Neighbour. But the part that's worrying me about that is Gavin Cromwell knows the time of day, and he's fairly bullish about Hello Neighbour. So that has to be taken into consideration too.
Yeah, the vibes from the Hello Neighbour camp Keels from very early on. I remember when Hello Neighbour made its debut on the flat in Navan. I was working that day, and there was a monster gamble on it that day, and it won very easily. They seem to know what they've had with Hello Neighbour from a very early stage. Are you a fan?
I think he did it okay, but I mean, he was really reaching for the line, wasn't he, at the end? And as Ruby said, if they didn't go fast, what if they go hard and it's miles more of a stamina test? You going to have it in him? Right, these two look
he won a mile and 6 in Navan.
Yeah, I didn't think stamina would be an issue now.
He wears a hood as well today, doesn't he?
He does, yeah.
Yeah, but it's just the way he was reaching for the line last time. It was just coming to a stop.
So what are you taking him on with?
I would favour St Lucie. I think I was impressed with her. I think she's she obviously jumps decently enough. She, like Johnny said, she had that bit of swagger about her. We don't, end of the day, I wouldn't be as strong as Johnny on her because they've all only run once or twice, haven't they? Like, you haven't got an awful lot to go on. We don't know what she's going to do second time, but I think she's very promising. We know what the Richies are like with getting mares and getting trial hurdle horses as well. They do seem to source them very well. So.
And I do remember a couple of years ago, Keels, I think it was Arkle and Mr. Adjudicator ran in this race, and you called it very early on that they were the ones to focus on for the Triumph Hurdle. In a word, are you a Lulamba fan or an East India Dock fan?
I'm an East India Dock fan. I think if there wasn't so much gossip about Lulamba, and there's not, there's no arguments to the fact that he was impressive at Ascot, but if there wasn't so much gossip about him, then East India Dock would be favourite. You will rarely see an ex-flat horse jump as nimbly as he does over hurdles. He hasn't touched a twig. Even when he's got in close to one, he's got over it without losing any ground whatsoever. And he stays well. He hits the line hard. I think he's got easily the best form at the moment. I'm not saying Lulamba can't win because obviously all the gossip is that he's an absolute superstar, and Nicky Henderson was having to poo-poo suggestions that he'd kick John Bon out of the way on the gallops before we ran at Ascot. So who knows? But I mean, I'm always going to back form over gossip, and the form is with East India Dock for me.
Are you East India Dock or Lulamba, Ruby?
I saw both of them in the flesh, and East India Dock really impressed me last week at Chatton. Again, the same as Paul, I love the way he jumps.
Johnny?
I'd go Lulamba, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, just have a feeling that he's a special horse.
Yeah, he could be special. Well, we'll see if there's anything to rival East India Dock and Lulamba in the juvenile hurdle here at Leopardstown today. Moving swiftly on to the 225, and this is a very, very interesting race because we've got a horse here, Meeting of the Waters, who is 36 pound lower over hurdles than he is over fences. So it's going to be extremely interesting in the race and stay at Leopardstown handicap hurdle. And Meeting of the Waters is your 13-8 favourite for Willie Mullins and Rachel Blackmore. Percival Lagalwa, your Paddy Power Chase winner here at Christmas, is next in the market at 6-1. Flicker of Hope, who was on a roll, won 4 of his last 5 at 9-1. Gay Cool, Ruby always gives me a lesson on how to pronounce that, is 10-1 for his dad. And Josh Williamson, Back Me or Sack Me, is 14-1, and Glenn Killen is also 14-1. Johnny Deneen, what do we do with Meeting of the Waters here? Is this one that just wins, or is it one you just leave well alone?
I'd lay Meeting of the Waters.
Would you?
Yeah, I would. I don't fancy it at all. I know I don't care what it is, 126 pound ahead. It don't make a difference. Some of these horses go from, there's a different discipline completely. I've even seen a few of them lesser type of horses run lately, like go from like yokes like Big Debates at 25 pounds ahead. Yeah. For some reason they can run atrocious when they go back over hurdles. I know it's 10 stone 2, but like he's probably a fine big horse. They won't know what if 10-2 or 10-12. That's the way I look at it anyway. It's a big field of horses. Jesus, I don't know. It'll be getting ready for the Grand National. At the same time, it'll be kind of its target. It ran in it last year. I presume that's where it's heading. It's a kind of a prep race. I know fellas will be saying, sure, it can't lose. I have a feeling it can lose.
So you're going to be laying me?
I would. I can't I know fellas, Jesus, it looks short to me. Like, if a fella gave me, look, put it this way, the way I look at these kind of things, if you said to me you can back Meeting of the Waters at 5-1, but you have to die with the bet, I wouldn't have it. That's the way I'd look at it. But like,
explain this to me, right? If you have a 26-runner handicap and he's 13-8, does that mean there has to be value somewhere else? Is he not cornering the market?
Yeah, absolutely he is. Absolutely he is. And like Percival de Galway is quite short as well. I mean, that's nowhere near as much in hand on its hurdle rating as it does the chase rating. But I have a feeling. I know Meeting of the Waters is third in Cheltenham and seventh in wherever, and like finished whatever mid division in the Paddy Power Chase.
Tanked into the Grand National.
Yeah, but he's finished seventh in the Grand National, didn't he? Yeah. Look, it's a completely different discipline. It's some amount of runners here. You need a bit of luck and running and everything.
So reading between the lines, you don't fancy him, no?
I don't, no. I said I wouldn't back him in any. I was giving that a chance. Your dad's horse, Gway Cool. I think that has a bit of a chance.
Yeah, definitely has a chance and always runs a race here. I think Josh Williamson claiming 7 off her be a help, but I'm not sure she has anything left.
No, maybe not, yeah. She's probably handicapped to the hilt. Yeah. And I was giving an outsider like Patter Merchant a chance. But my play here would be against Meeting of the Waters, at 2-1 or less anyway.
There we go. Johnny Nanine is laying Meeting of the Waters. Ruby, is he mad?
Sure, in theory, yeah. In theory, he is mad, but he probably has made a living out of it long enough to prove that he's not mad. But I would look at it differently. Look, 13-8, best of luck to him. Go and win. I don't think, the way I bet anyway, I never want to get rich back in those. So I'd be looking for the each-way value, which I know you don't believe in, Johnny. But I would be thinking, well, if he doesn't get a run, what can I back at a bigger price that I might hit the jackpot on? And I think King Alexander is one. I think he's improved, even though he got a penalty for winning at Ferryhouse. And I thought one of Gordon's had a chance too. Lucky Lyrene, who beat Kinturk Calanisi last year and then beat Buckle Bucked, hasn't been in the same form this year. But Karen Miller claiming 5 off. I think those at 16 and 20-1. I wouldn't mind having. Yeah,
and plenty of support over the last 24 hours for Lucky Lyrene. 50s at one stage, now into 20s with Paddy Power, Lucky Lyrene. And King Alexander, probably a bigger price than most Good Morning Dublin viewers will be expected. 16-1,
yeah. I just watched him the other morning. I think he's definitely come forward for that run in Ferryhouse, and he beat Fortune. The Fortunata has to carry the penalty. I'm not surprised Paul is not riding him. He has Atlantique and Marlborough come, or Atlantique and Gallop and Asham coming later in the day. 26-runner handicap hurdle. Is it worth the risk of getting brought down? And
the thing about King Alexander, if Paul was on King Alexander, it'd be much shorter price.
But like, the reason he's not on him is because what's coming after him.
Yeah, absolutely. So there you go, a 20-1 shot and a 16-1 shot for Ruby Walsh in that 3-mile handicap hurdle. Keels, you're one that likes these type of races, those type of prices. What have you got for
Yeah, I know. Problem is, it has been spoiled a little bit by Meeting of the Waters, isn't it? I mean, in Britain it wouldn't be allowed to happen. You'll never get a horse running a handicap hurdle 36-pound load and over fences, because the BHA stopped that a while ago. The big question is how much he improved for fences and how much he improved just for maturing, and there'll be a difference between the two. He's obviously a better chaser, but he's probably a good deal better than the 112 hurdler, isn't he? Like, it'd be easy enough to argue that, as long as he avoids any trouble, you'd expect him to win. I don't bet like that, though, obviously. I backed Gay Cool, is that how we say it?
Very good. Far better than
how we say it?
Yeah.
I backed her, sorry, but a fair bit bigger price yesterday. It seems to have been a fair bit of money for each race. Yeah, is what me to tell you? 20.
Sounds like you took it.
You were saying this weekend you're in an unbelievable position going into the weekend. I don't want to tempt fate, but just for people that don't know, just tell the positions that you're in. Are we allowed to?
Would you prefer if we did? Do you want to? No, can't. It's just like
give them one. Give them
one. It's like showing off, isn't it?
Give them one. They're not showing off if they're all beaten.
I've got 8 Daffodil in the Scottish County Hurdle. That's one of them.
Okay. And in the Scilly Isles?
9-4 Django, 8-1 handstand. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's all right.
We'll finish with that. Finish with that.
Okay.
Listen, I've had loads of days when I've had outrageous value and haven't had a single winner. That's how punting goes.
So you're with Gay Cool here?
I'm with Gay Cool, yeah. She's just really solid at Leopardstown. She's only been out the first 3 once. She was second in this last year. She'd won over the course and distance the time before that. I thought she'd run well enough to suggest that she's still got all that ability, and this will have been a target, won't it? So why not? It can't be out of frame, surely.
Excellent. So Gay Cool for Paul Keeley. Ruby is
just on one point there, what Ruby said about the each way. Do you know, I wouldn't dismiss anyone for going each way here. Do you know, like what I'm talking about?
I'm not trying to get away from the sun is stuck in the eye.
Well, I wouldn't back a horse each way. It's when you think the favourite is bomb-proof. You know what I mean? I wouldn't back a horse each way against Gallop in the Sham today. Do you know what I mean? Because I think you're only fighting maybe one or two places.
It's obviously a bet without him.
Yeah, whatever. But you mean to have no bet or whatever you want to do. But like that's to me is a bad each way bet because you've only you're fighting for third place probably. Do you know what I mean? One place. Whereas here, like you're getting 5 or 6 places, and I wouldn't be surprised if Meeting the Waters wasn't even placed. None of mine win the race. You know what I mean? It's a possible, like it's a favourite I would rate as vulnerable one, and it's also if you were backing something each way, like I don't see any harm in opposing this favourite, if you know what I'm saying. So there is probably good each way value in a race like this.
Just only Paul thinks Meeting the Waters has ruined it. I think he's making it.
Yeah, well, there's two ways of looking at it, yeah.
I think he's because he's in there and everyone thinks like he's so well in. To me, like there's no way I call out 2 horses that shouldn't be the prices they are.
Yeah.
And I think he's making.
Well, if he was a non-runner, it'd be probably 6 to 1 to field, like you know what I mean, that kind of thing.
Johnny, you gave us a little insight there into your punt, and you're saying each way you wouldn't back something each way against Gallop and the Shams. In this race here, Ruby mentioned betting without. Would you ever either back without, or would you ever back distances? You know, favourites to win by a certain distance. Any type of those alternative markets?
No, look, betting without is you're betting on a race that doesn't exist. So basically, you could back the second best horse, without the best horse, and they bounce off each other for 2 miles. The next thing, the favourite shakes him off, and this thing, 1,000,000 to 1 chance comes up and nuts you for second on the running. You know what I mean? That can happen. So you lose your money.
That's the appeal of betting into those races.
Yeah. Well, maybe if you want to back one of the outsiders, maybe that could happen.
Being ridden
I wouldn't dismiss anyone, but the distance is a waste of time anyway. Unless you know the man on his back is going to do something, you're like it's pure guesswork, isn't it? Like you know what I mean? Like if the owner or the fella comes in and says, look, we're not giving this a hard race today. We'll be doing to trying to win by as little as possible. Then you can go under or whatever. You know what I mean? But if you don't know, it's a pure guess. It's a waste of time.
Yeah, we don't like guessing, Johnny. So your selections for the handicap hurdle, the race and stay handicap hurdle.
If you don't like
Johnny
guessing, I best go home.
is laying Meeting of the Waters. Ruby has put up King Alexander at 16 to 1, and Lucky Lorraine at 20 to 1, and Paul Keeley is with Gay Cool. I think at 9 to 1 now with Paddy Power, and we'll move swiftly on to an absolute corker. It is the Goffs Irish Arkle, and Mageborough is on the drift, folks. Now 5 to 6 Mageborough, 2 to 1 in Atlantique. Firefox is 8 to 1, 12 to 1 Touch Me Not, 33 to 1 Geno Lapan, and here comes Georgie, the British raider, is 80 to 1. Ruby Walsh, I'm going to start with you here because I think we're going to disagree. I thought all week that Il Atlantique was completely the wrong price, 7 to 2, 133 to 1. To me, he's improved massively from hurdles to fences. I was there both days he won, especially in Navan. I just thought he just loved what he was doing. Is there as much, they're getting closer together in the market now, but in your mind, is there as much between Mageborough and Il Atlantique as regards potential superstar over fences as the betting would suggest?
He asked me an easier question because that's a mathematical one now that's just beyond me.
Okay.
To me, one is nearly even money, 2 to 1. One is double the price. So does that mean then, to answer your question, that Mageborough has to be twice as good a horse as Il Atlantique?
I don't know what way it works, yeah.
Okay, well, I'll rephrase it then, Ruby. Who's a better horse, Il Atlantique or Mageborough?
Mageborough.
Okay, there we go. We got there in the end.
That was an easy question to ask me. You went around in prices and speaking in riddles. I think he is. I think what Mageborough has done as a 4-year-old into a 5-year-old. I think even to go to Cheltenham last year, and we often look at it and think, well, he hasn't enough runs over hurdles. Most horses that go to Cheltenham will have a backwork of runs on the flat or in bumpers or a couple of points or whatever. Mageborough turned up in the Triumph last year having his 3rd ever career start and won it. Like, to me, that's pure potential. That's pure ability. He came out this year, he was very good in Ferryhouse when he beat Tully Hill. He opened up in 2 strides. He'd always take the sight out of your eye to watch him below it, and Willie Mullins is even just walking along. He just looks, and it's not always as easy as the one that looks the best is the best, but this fella looks a superstar, and I think what he's shown us so far on the track, I think he is. I think he's shown more than Il Atlantique, and I think he just is a better horse than Il Atlantique. And to me, there's a body of work here, or enough of form. Like, you're guessing with Final Demand, 1 run, is he that much better than the others? I prefer this fella at a shorter price than Final Demand at the first.
Okay.
I think there's more evidence.
Yeah.
For me, anyway.
That's why he's Ruby Walsh and I'm David Jennings. Are you a
No, it's only another way of looking at it, but that's the beauty of racing. That's only the way I look at it. It doesn't mean that I'm going to be right. He'll look at it a different way, you look at it a different way. That's the beauty of horse racing. Everyone looks at it a different way. It's just we'd all start shouting that we're right and you're wrong. It's not. The beauty is everyone having an opinion.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Are you an Atlantique fan, Johnny?
No, I'm not a fan of... Like, these are good horses, very good horses, of course they are. I try to envisage what's going to happen in a race before I have a bet. Well, something has to give here, because Manchester made the running, Atlantique has made the running twice, and Touch Me Not is going to try and make the running.
I think the other two have made the running only sufferance, because nothing else went on.
Right.
I think Touch Me Not and rock and roll here and suit the other two.
Would you think so? Yeah. Like when I'm back in the yoke at Magborough, like this is pure, probably stupid thinking now, right? As a punter, when I'm back in Magborough, if I'm thinking of back in Magborough, I'm envisaging it could be in third or fourth place at the stage in this race.
Yeah.
And that means it has to pass 3 horses to win, and I hate that. I hate being on the foot, because one little error in a race like this and you're out, you're gone.
There's only, 6 runners?
I don't care. You have to pass them one by one. Do you know what I mean? You have to get by the third.
One jump could take you by them all.
Yeah,
I definitely see it. That's brilliant. I could see it completely different than that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind being last to 6 here.
I hate being on the ones that are last.
Johnny, would you ever back the likes of Quivega or any of those type of horses, proper hold-up horses? Would you ever back them?
We never back Quivega in Cheltenham. No, never. I got
sick of Lane. I was going to be too far back for you, wasn't I?
Is that why though? Just because of her position?
No, but she was turning up first time out every year, and there was always bad word for her as well. She won every year, all that kind of stuff. At the finish, I got sick of it. You just put your hands up and say, "I'm enough of this." After about 4 years, he said, "Nah, I'm after giving you enough, lads." But no, if I think a horse is going to be dropped out third or fourth, has to pass the even it only takes. If I think it's a 2-horse race, and one has to pass the other, I'm reluctant to back the one that has come up from behind the other one. Genuinely, no.
I would see it differently. I do strongly believe that the easiest way is if you're on the best horses to make the running, because you can go at a higher pace than the rest. So in a different way of looking at it, I agree with your theory, but definitely the easiest way to do it is make the running.
Yeah, I like being on front runners myself, obviously. Yeah. You know what I mean? But it's just that I can see, like, Touch Me Not. There's no margin for it. Like, a horse can jump like he did in Fairy House, and from the front and get everything his own way and jump like a stag. You put Touch Me Not in a few of these horses in front of you doing 100 mile an hour, and can you force an error out of a horse like Magborough? And you can at times. For that reason, I wouldn't back him.
So are you laying Magborough back in something else?
No, I'm going to have a small stab off Firefox, even though he's no real right to win the race. I might have a tiny bet on that.
Is this envisaging the way the race is going to play?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I think that I think he's probably better than.
Where's he going to sit though?
Which?
Where's he going to sit?
Probably second, I'd say.
Second, yeah.
Yeah, because I think Touch Me Not won't be good enough when the time comes. Like I think
Touch Me Not will make it. Atlantique will sit up on his tail.
Right.
Magborough will be beside Firefox, vying for third or fourth.
Yeah.
And what about Jap?
Yeah, but
he wasn't too far off the pace of Christmas though.
Yeah, but you wouldn't mind him in front of you. Do you know what I mean?
Right. He doesn't matter. So it's not. It's actually the quality of what's in front of you.
Exactly.
Right.
There's no rhyme or reason to these subjects.
No, but it just like in a maiden hurdle, I look at him. It just said there's 20 runners. If your horse is second to 100 to 1 shot, jumping the first, in my opinion, he's in front. Do you know what I mean? The one in front of you. But if he's second to the 7 to 4 second favourite, he's only second then, all right. Do you know what I mean? That's the way I look at it.
So you pick out the 3 or 4 you fancy, and that's how you place them in the race then?
Kind of like that, yeah.
Johnny the Neen Stakes, that's the race.
Yeah, I'll go with Firefox, but it's only a very tentative vote. Yeah, it's a race to watch, actually, isn't it?
It's a great race, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Some of these races, you don't even have to have a bet in them anyway, do you? But I mean, they're going to be a fantastic watch. But I mean, I think you can overcomplicate things sometimes. I mean, who is the best horse? It's probably Magborough, isn't it? Like, given what he's done in 4 runs in his life, and I love the way he went away after the last from Tully Hill. It was just pure class, wasn't it? And he jumped really well. And I will say, Atlantique really has impressed me. Now, I was against him all last year. I thought he was soft, but I think he's looked really, really good, and he obviously enjoys it.
I think he's at the right trip now.
But and he's
Ruby?
Probably a 2-miler, yeah.
We looked at him last year, he looked like a stayer, but he bolted in a 2-mile maiden hurdle. And then he went up and trip. Yeah. All Lawlers went to the Lawlers with him. He got beaten by reading Tommy wrong. Yeah. But, and kind of thought, he just did a bit much. Actually, did he stay? should he have come back? His best performance last year was his maiden hurdle at 2 miles, and he didn't come back to 2 miles until he'd had 3 more runs and he was over the top.
Yeah.
But I think we just got the distance wrong with him.
And on Racing Post rating scales, you've got Il Atlantique got 159 for winning at Nace. Majborough got 151 for winning the beginner's chase. Obviously, it was a beginner's chase and one was a Grade 2 novice chase. But on the figures, Il Atlantique has achieved more.
Il Atlantique goes in there with the best form at the moment, without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah, because he's had the opportunity to do it in Grady company, and he's run
Your
twice.
ratings, man?
No.
They're good.
No.
We'll have our own conversation.
So you can't. You can't argue that he has got the best form, but I mean the potential is all with Majborough, and we've seen how well he can jump. So yeah, I favour him. I'm not, it's not my sort of betting race. I'll watch it rather than punt.
Okay, I'm with Il Atlantique. You're just about Majborough. You're very much with Majborough.
I'll go Tiny Firefox.
Firefox,
yeah.
Tiny. And if you want to have a bet on the Goffs Irish Arkle, would you like some free bets? Of course you would. Yes, get yourself some free bets. Why not? And hopefully you might find the winner of the Paddy Power Irish Gold Cup. It's at 3:30 and it is a corker. It is the next instalment of Gallop in the Champs against Fact to File. And it's 8-15 Gallop in the Champs, 7-2 Fact to File. Monty Star 10-1, 12-1 Embassy Gardens. I know the way you're thinking is 18-1. Hewick, your King George winner from last year, is 25-1. Grange Clare West 66-1. 66-1 your Grand National winner, Aya Maximus. Manila Cocooner, your Old Whipbread winner, is 80-1. And Conflated, a previous winner of this race, is 100-1. This is, Paul Keeley, the race we all wanted. We want to see round 3 of Fact to File against Gallop in the Champs. The market is suggesting it's all one-way traffic with Gallop in the Champs. Is the market correct?
I hope so, yeah. Partly because I backed Fact to File for the Ryanair. And we'll have to see how it goes. I can't buy Fact to File staying any further than this trip. And so I don't see why he would want to go in the Gold Cup, to be honest, because I think Gallop in the Champs would beat him further there. I think he'll beat him further here than he beat him last time. I just bit in the paper the other day saying he doesn't seem to be as loved as some
didn't
great
get that
horses.
piece.
I
was here over Christmas, and that horse is adored over here.
He's a great horse. You know what I mean? He could well win. I think he probably will win 3 Gold Cups.
Who was struggling for an article?
It wasn't probably one of our finer moments, no.
Yeah, I mean, to me, he's one of the best. He's the best since Courto and Denman over staying trips.
Is he better than
Denman? And he's a fantastic watch. I don't know. You'd be better off asking Ruby. You know better than me.
I will. Don't worry.
He's certainly very close to being. I mean, it's obviously Denman done it in 2 handicaps. One just out of novice company. The second one was the better performance, arguably given the rating he ran off then. And of course, most top class horses don't run in handicaps these days. But even so, the way he won last year, the way he won last time, the way he's won 2 Gold Cups. He's a very, very good horse, no doubt about it. I fully expect him to win. If I'm having a punt in the race, I will play the betting without markets and hope that I'm
Johnny
right.
loves them.
And hope that I'm right that Fact to File doesn't get home. I got Monty Star down as a national horse rather than Gold Cup quality. So I'm thinking, I know the way you're thinking. I don't know what price he is without.
I'll keep talking and I'll find out for
you. Yeah, I just think this is going to be, this will be quite a test, and I think he'll enjoy it and he'll come through and he'll stay on, and he might pick up the pieces for second.
Perfect time. It's 6-1 without. Are you happy with that?
6-1. That's fair enough.
Okay. Gallop in the Champs to win the race. I know the way you're thinking. Without at 6-1 for Paul Keeley in the Paddy Power Irish Gold Cup. Going to leave you till last here, Ruby. Johnny. 8-15, Gallop in the Champs. You know what you're going to get. Are you going to get stuck in?
Oh, I had something on him already, 6-4, and I thought that was fair. He'd probably be 4-7 freely here. He should be in it. There's a good strong market here on course as well. Phillips would probably want to lay him. There will be market for. You get what you like on favourites here today. Anyway, these kind of ones in it, because invariably 1 or 2 of them will get twisted. But I find it hard to see how he's going to get beaten. I don't like if he does what he always does, he'll get what he always got. Isn't that a saying?
It is now.
Yeah, well, whatever. All he has to do is do what he's been doing all along, and he'd beat Fact to File again. I can't, for my life, of me see anything else win the race. Anyway, to be honest, like Monty Star and Embassy Gardens, I wouldn't back them at any price myself now. I just thought if he does things what he normally does, he will win.
If life is normal at half 3, he just wins.
Yeah, I do, and I think I'm not so sure he'll win by half the track, because I'd say they won't want to maybe a lungbuster like going into Cheltenham again. Maybe I'd say they'll probably give the 2 horses. They poop around until the second last and run away from there. And I don't want to kill either horse, to be honest. You know what I mean? I wouldn't. If I was backing him in the distance, I'd say he won't win by a big distance myself, but I do think he'll win.
Okay, there we go. Galloping Champs. Johnny is already on at 4-6. Ruby, what a marvellous horse. Christmas was really the day where I thought here it was just a fabulous occasion. He did his thing. And he's going for another Irish Gold Cup. He's going for his third Gold Cup at Cheltenham. He is the best horse definitely we've seen since Caught a Star and Denman. What does he have to do to get to the next level that we're saying, well, actually, is he better than Caught a Star? What does he have to do?
Just has to last, David. He just, that's all he has to do is last. Caught a Star lasted. Like he won a King George at 12, was he 12? Yeah. He just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's. I think already Galloping the Champ is probably the best horse in Ireland since Arkle, Chaser. Like he's going to go back to Cheltenham in a month's time and hopefully win a third Gold Cup. But he's 9 rising 10. Like he could possibly, if he's lucky, be the first horse to win 4 Gold Cups. He could be coming back here this time next year to win a 4th Paddy Power Irish Gold Cup. Like he could be a legacy horse.
Is he the best horse Willie Mullins has ever trained?
Yeah, now you won't get Willie to say that, because Willie was very fond of Hurricane Fly, and he'd always have a soft spot for Florida Pearl, who got him going. So that's like asking someone to pick your favourite time. So he's not going to ever come out with that. But I think in time he will be a horse that I think, to me, racing needs Galloping the Champ. We need a legacy horse. Yeah. And I think he is the legacy horse at the moment. I hope he is. I would just pity Constitution Hill missed last year, because they would have been you would have had 2 of them at the one time, a hurdler and a chaser. But I just think that this fella, if he's just lucky and the 4 legs can stay under him, like his engine, the way he jumps, his mindset, watch him go down the ring today. Like, talk about having the mindset for top class racing. Right. He has it all. And watch Factify going around behind him. I just don't think, even though Factify is an 8-year-old, mentally he's mature enough to compete with Galloping the Champ. He stomped around the ring here at Christmas, where Galloping the Champ strolled around like he was blowing close up.
We watch your work on ITV. Your tactical work is fantastic to watch. How do you see this race panning out from a tactical perspective?
Mark has to do something different. He either goes back or he goes forward. So does he jump out and say, hang on now, this fella, Factify, probably has a good bit of a higher cruising speed than we went to Christmas. Does he jump out and say, right, Paul, you're coming? Let Factify get in his rhythm, he's 2 ears pricked and jumping away, or else he has to go back. He can't get between horses, and not even between horses. Like at Christmas time, if you were standing above in the stand, what did you want Mark Walsh to do? Sit 2 lengths behind Paul Downer. And that's exactly what he did. But unfortunately, when he did that, he had horses sitting a length behind him, either side of him, horses' eyes on the side of their head, and Factify was forever competitive with the 2 behind him. He's running away from the 2 back there. So he has to either get behind more or else go very much forward. But that's up to Mark. He'll have to try something. But whatever he tries, he's trying to pull a rabbit out of a hat here to be a Galloping Champ. I think.
Yeah, I agree. But if he does, it's just the reaction from the betting and running, say. Just say Factify decides that we're going to make the run-in, and he jumps the first, say, 3 in front of Galloping the Champ. Like, just say the other prices are going off 8-15 and 7-2. He'll be 5-2 after a fence, and your man will be 4-6. Whereas if Galloping the Champ jumps the first 3 lengths in front and Factify is out the back, Galloping the Champ be 2-5 and he'll be 7-1.
Is there a chance, Ruby, that he could pop the first on front, Mark Walsh?
I have no idea. Yeah. And I won't be getting anyway involved in that. But there's only 2 options. Yeah. It's way more likely he'll go back. But the only other option is go
back. Yeah, it probably is. Like, for anyone betting the favourite, it'd be slightly disconcerting for me anyway. If your man jumped the first 4 in front Factify, I wouldn't be happy with that.
But if you were the manager in that team, Johnny, if you were the manager in that JP O'Banna's team, you'd be telling Mark,
I'd say, look, he's either going to stay or he's not. You might as well know from the front as go from behind. You know what I mean? I said, we're not going to beat him from behind. How are you going to pass Galloping the Champ? That's the way I'd look at it. How are you going to pass him off the last bend? Come to be 2 lengths behind. You see it here the last day. He could come up and he'd say, if you walked in and just started watching the race, he'd say, second will win here. Do you know what I mean? But he didn't, and he was never getting by him. You haven't the hope of passing a horse like that.
I think if even, like, and it's the advantage of going racing, I think watch Factify before the race. Yeah. I think at Christmas here, I was just happened to be in the parade ring working it, and he stomped around the ring, 2 grooms, and he was charging with them. Right. It's like watching a flat horse going around the ring, not a horse that's going to go out there and try and run 3 mile over fences.
How has that happened, Ruby? Because I remember chatting to Willie about Factifile in the early days, and he said he was an armchair. You lob along on a loose train. He's perfect because he just
atmosphere. You'd be on about the crowd here got Christmas time for Gallop in the Champ.
Yeah.
This place was buzzing.
Yeah.
Atmosphere. You watch Factify every morning of the week at home in Close Sutton.
But there'll be more here today, won't there?
Going around sound asleep behind Gallop in the Champ. But you hope he's learned a bit from the last day. And it's racing teaches them. Like, you know what I mean? You have to do it to learn how to do it.
Oh, it's going to be a corker. It's at 3:30. Johnny Deneen is already on Gallop in the Champs at 4 to 6. Ruby thinks Gallop in the Champs could be the best horse we've had in Ireland since Arkle. And Paul Keeley is putting forward, I know the way you're thinking, without Gallop in the Champs at 6 to 1 with Paddy Power. And speaking of Paddy Power, log into your account and you will see a free bet for Leopardstown today. And if you opt in, you get assigned a jockey. You'll see all the terms and conditions on the website. If you opt in, you get assigned a jockey for day one of the Dublin Racing Festival. Of course, the big race sponsored by Paddy Power. And if that jockey rides a winner, whoever you get a free bet as well. So have a look at that on the Paddy Power website. And we've got 2 to go. So moving on to the Ryanair Handicap Chase. It's at 4:05. By then, who knows, maybe Gallop in the Champs has won his 3rd Irish Gold Cup. Midnight it is, it's a 3 to 1 favourite. My Mate Mozzie is back, and My Mate Mozzie is 6 to 1. Facile Mode is also 6 to 1. Captain's Nephew, my own particular fancy, is 7 to 1, along with Shambally Kid. On Pioun Darragh is 7 to 1, and it is 14 to 1 bar. Johnny, it's a handicap chase. I know this isn't your bread and butter, but have you got a selection for us?
Yeah, look, I'd be interested in Shambally Kid if he could jump properly, but his jumping is horrific. He's
too careful, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He doesn't know what he's doing in fences, as far as I can see. Like he's thrown in here on hurdle ratings, but
he is, but you can't teach a horse to jump.
No, I suppose not, and it's in a handicap, and they're going to go faster here. For that reason, I'd leave him go. I was putting up a token selection and a law of her own.
Yes, she has a squeak.
A squeak off a very low weight. Has running against reasonable mares and that, and this isn't. There's quite a share of dead wood in this race. I thought, no, plenty of horses here you wouldn't fancy, and I was just giving her an outside chance. That's all.
16s from 20s this morning. Law of her own for Peter Fahey. Ruby, Shambally Kid is obviously the interesting one going forward. Could be chucked in. Are you just worried about the jumping?
If I went out in Shambally Kid, I'd be counting the fences down backwards.
Yeah.
11 to go, 10 to go, 9 to go, 8 to go.
You're good at counting backwards, actually. That was impressive.
If you were out in Shambally Kid, you'd be counting them down backwards anyway.
Yeah.
How many have I left to jump?
So he's not for you.
He's definitely not for me. Not at 2 miles anyway. And this is an ideal start. So you come up to the first fence, you keep him on the right, he'll pop the first. Big long run to the second, you'd be thinking, not so bad. I'm on the back of him. And then the 2 fences downhill away from here, and he'd be, no. I'd be glad to watch him now.
Yeah.
If you're going to back him, I definitely wouldn't back him until he was halfway.
Right.
What would you like to ride here?
Me? Wouldn't like to ride anything.
Okay. Do you fancy anything? What would you like to back here?
I think My Mate Mozzie will give you a run for your money, but it doesn't matter what the distance is. The last half of furlong was too far in every race. Don't think he'd win, but he's an each way pup.
Okay, there we
That
go.
won't do you.
No.
That's your definition of madness.
It would be if I thought he couldn't win. Yeah.
No, it's like, that's an
Which maybe the race will fall someday and he will win a race,
doesn't it?
Yeah, My Mate Mozzie's been terrific in these big handicaps. Flat hurdles, chases, he's always in the mix. Ruby is with...
he's very talented. He just doesn't want to win, does he?
Maybe not.
I think he's Archibald. I think he gives you everything, and as soon as you have to go and ask for any more, it's already gone.
He's 6 to 1 each way for Ruby. My Mate Mozzie. Keels, we're on the same
We're
page.
on the same page here.
I am all over Captain's Nephew.
I can't get the difference in price between Midnight It Is and Captain's Nephew. There's a little more than a length between them. Captain's Nephew made a mistake.
Okay, you make your case first.
Captain's Nephew made a mistake 4 out. The jockey lost his whip going to the last and was trying to whip him on his backside with his hand, wasn't he? If you saw him halfway up the run. But he won a good, decent race at Ferrari House last year. And it just shapes to me as though he's still well enough handicapped to pick up another decent prize. And, you can pick holes in everything. You can pick holes in him, to be fair. But, I just didn't get the price difference between him and Midnight It Is.
Yeah, he was 12 to 1, yes, only 7 to 1 now. But with Captain's Nephew, I think with these 2 mile handicap chase in Ireland, you need to travel and you need to jump. And I think he's going to do both. And at Fairy House in the Danmore, he went after Rebel Gold. Rebel Gold went lickety split, and he was the one always chasing Rebel Gold. And I thought he kind of paid the price in the closing stages. I think the race will pan out a little bit differently here. And I think Captain's Nephew around here, he's going to jump and he's going to travel. I think he's got a cracking chance. And currently 7 to 1 with Paddy Power. So myself and Keels are with Captain's Nephew. Ruby's with My Mate Mozzie each way, and Johnny has given a shout out to a law of her own at 16 to 1. And we're down to the finale. It is the Future Stars bumper, and there has been a bit of a move this morning for Green Splendour, who's now favoured 11 to 4 with Paddy Power from 7 to 2. He Can't Dance is 11 to 4, joint favourite as well. Col Cannon 14 to 1, 12 to 1, 10 to 1, 8 to 1. I'm counting down like you now, Ruby. 8 to 1, 6 to 1. Now 11-2 Colcannon. I started a joke 6-1, 15-2 Sortudo, and it is 10-1 Bar. And Johnny Deneen, I have a feeling, I could be wrong, that you might have started this plunge on Colcannon.
No, I did not.
Have you backed it yet?
No, I haven't. I haven't.
A bit of mash, do you?
What?
Like mash, do you?
Is that cabbage and potato? It is. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
No, I didn't back it, and it was nothing to do with me because
you're joking.
It wasn't because.
So we spoke yesterday. We do a column in the Racing Post on Saturday, and Johnny has Colcannon in his lucky 15 for Saturday in today's Racing Post.
No,
and he made a brilliant case to me, and I presumed you'd.
There was money for it before the paper went out in print, so it had nothing to do with me anyway. I just thought he won a bumper, was disqualified against some man's wreck for the young fella going maybe weighing in some light. Yeah, that's right. Then I was impressed with him in Galway against Heads Up because he pulled and dragged all the way, and I actually laid him that day and running, and I was saying to myself, surely the hill is going to catch this guy out, like, you know what I mean? But and it didn't, and he won, and he caught Heads Up, who was no mug either, you know what I mean? Heads Up was second to Calypso, Chance and Nevin, and like that would have been favoured in this race. I think he has a good chance the way he's going to be ridden. He'll be probably like eased into the race by Derek O'Connor. He's a horse with plenty of pace. I think he has a great each way chance at the very least. He's a horse that's going to be finishing, and he could even win it. There's nothing in this race that, like, Green Splendor won a race here at Christmas. I didn't think it was as good as normal for the 26th, that bumper.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was. No, the Bromwich horse, you could say his horse out of form, but that did run bad, and like since at the same time he was placed in it. He ran the other day in was it Punchestown?
Yeah.
He can't dance. I actually backed that at 2-9 in Navan to win something small. It was sideways watching to come up the straight. You know what I mean?
He still won easy enough.
He did, yeah. But if you were on the 2-9, you wouldn't have thought that at the same time.
You're a bigger reacher to be back there.
Yeah, but still, it's funny to me that you could win by half the track. You find something. It's like picking it up off the ground. But anyway, like it won, but like it wasn't overly impressive. No. I started a joke, won a race in Limerick by short head. The form has been franked.
Yeah,
I respect Charles Burns down a race like this. Sortudo, who got won in Tremor, got like beaten here the last day by a mare who's a similar price in a mare's race tomorrow at Carrickmore. It doesn't look as good a race as other years, and for that reason I think Colcannon has a good chance.
You've missed the 14s, 12s, 10s, 8s, 6s. Is 11-2 now too short for you to back it?
Look, I won't back it at all. No, probably is right. Yeah, but he just as Paul put it up, I won't even be here for that race, I'd say. But listen, it has a good chance. It has a good each way chance. Yeah.
Ruby, what can you tell us about Green Splendor?
Not a flashy horse at home, but I'd say keeps plenty for himself. Had one run for Stuart Crawford last year in Newbury behind that horse Paul.
Regent Stroll,
yeah. And he won well here at Christmas again. I agree with Johnny. I don't know is the form of that bumper magnificent, but I think he's improved a bit. He's going in the right direction. Just not sure we have a star bumper horse this year.
Is he up there towards the top of the pecking order with the bumper horses?
He is, yeah. I don't think the mare tomorrow is probably the best of them. The mare Patrick.
Future prospect.
Yeah.
Okay.
But on homework anyway, this fella goes fine, but I don't know if we any superstar.
Keels, have we a superstar in this?
You know me and bumpers, mate.
Sorry, I forgot.
I have a pretty.
How many pints again is what you're talking about?
I was going to say, I have a pretty general lack of interest in bumpers anyway, and a normal person will say, well, I'll be watching the rugby anyway, but I'm even less interested in that. But the bars will still be open, so I may well be here and having a couple. I actually thought, if a token, but police don't pay attention to me when it comes to bumpers. Classical Creek will benefit from a stronger run race. And we'll see it out. It looks a bit of each way value at 10.
Classical Creek currently 10-1 day go, and I am a fan of He Can't Dance. I think that point form beating Meet Me by the Sea, who's won 3 times for Ben Pauling, and beat Meet Me by the Sea fair and square. I thought in that point. I think he's going to be a decent horse. He Can't Dance 11-4. I thought was fair. Before we get your naps at Dublin Racing Festival, Johnny, you've been all over everything today. Best bet in Britain today. If people are watching, and Sandown is on, Musselburgh is on. Yeah, what's the best bet?
The only bet I've had so far is the first favourite Wetherby, 12:30, so you'll get an early date. First race of the whole entire day.
The whole day, Johnny.
Metakina.
Metakina, yeah.
Metakina, yeah.
Currently 4-5. What price did you get?
It was bigger than that.
Oh, okay. Say no more.
Slightly, anyway.
Okay, so it'll be
it was way bigger than that. It was double that price.
Dictate the tempo of your day.
Yeah, it'll be a good start anyway if it does win. Yeah.
Ruby, Silly Isles.
What's the handicap in the rugby?
The handicap in the rugby, God. I haven't a clue. Well, I'll check for you.
Will it be 7 in around that? Would it know? Who's favourites? Ireland, I presume.
Ireland are favourites, but Ireland weren't impressive in the autumn internationals at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a clue.
Keep talking there, lads. Keep talking.
The Silly Isles, good race. Handstands, obviously. And
6.
6.
Ireland -6 evens. England +6 evens.
Just, I'd say, like, Ireland might get over the line, but I'd say 6.
England
if you had
plus
6, England +6, yeah.
That's the way to go with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Silly Isles?
Silly Isles, I thought Nicky's horse, Django Boy.
Django Boy. Okay. Keels, you've been tipping your sizzlers in the paper today, best bet in Britain?
Oh, well, actually, the one I hope wins most is Etalon, but he's a bit short now, isn't he? I still think he'll win. Best bet in Britain today. I tell you what, Gary Josh Moore's starting to run back into form, and there's a bit of value. Maybe Caliph Dairy in the 125.
Caliph Dairy, I'll get your tips up here just to remind you because you seem to have forgotten. Paul Keeley, Saturday Sizzlers, there we go. They're page 23 of today's Racing Post. You'll see Paul Keeley there in all his glory. And you have tipped Caliph Dairy in the 125 at Sandown. You've tipped Gay Cool here in the 225. Fidelio Vallis in the 250 at Musselburgh. Flight Deck in the 307 at Sandown. O'Connell in the 342 at Sandown. And we're in the same camp with Captain's Nephew in the 405. And I know I've given the game away, but still buy the Racing Post today if you can, because you have to keep us in a job. OK, it's charity bet time. Thanks to Paddy Power, we've got charity bets. Johnny Deneen, the best bet of the day is?
I'll go St. Lucie, yes, just keep it simple, yeah.
Keep it simple, OK. St. Lucie for Johnny Deneen in the second. Ruby?
Majborough and Gallopin in a double.
Oh, OK, there we go. Majborough in the Irish Arkle and Gallop of the Shops in the Paddy Power Irish Gold Cup. Keels?
Go Captain's Nephew for a bit of value.
Oh, yes. We're in the same camp. Myself and Keels are with Captain's Nephew. There you go. 15-2. Yeah, I'll take a bit of that. 15-2, Captain's Nephew. And as you see, St. Lucie, 15-8. Johnny Deneen there. Ruby, you see, we just couldn't get in the graphic to double, but Majborough and Gallopin Champs in a double. Johnny, you're brilliant at maths. 5-6 and 8-15 works out roughly.
Just 2-1, isn't it?
2-1?
Yeah.
OK, there you go.
Roughly, anyway, yeah.
Yeah, OK. There we go. That's Ruby's double for the day. And that is it, folks. Enjoy today, Ruby. Where are you
the coffee
based
coming
today?
shortly? Surely we get a cup of coffee, do we?
Would you like a cup of coffee?
I presume so, yeah.
I mean,
Do they know who you are?
Is the budget that tight in the Racing Post? You couldn't even get a cup of coffee.
It's very tight, Ruby. It's very tight. We'll get you coffee. It might be filtered, though. Is that all right?
Ah, jeez.
What's your plan for the day?
Flat white.
Flat white, OK. What's your plan for the day?
RT for this afternoon.
RT, well, enjoy. We'll be watching on and have it recorded at home. Johnny?
Yeah, I'll just be waiting until the first race to start, 12:30 in Weatherby, and then I'm off, yeah.
Well, the best of luck with that. And Keels?
Checking the credit card.
here all day.
You're all day out tonight?
Here all day, out tonight. Not 100% certain.
Oh, right, OK.
Of course I am.
That is the biggest on-sound shot of the day. Well, thank you for joining us here on Good Morning Dublin for day one of the Dublin Race Festival. Don't forget, we're back tomorrow for day two featuring the Irish Champion Hurdle. Same time, same place, 8:30. Until then, he's been Johnny Dean, he's been Ruby Walsh, he's been Paul Keeley, I've been David Jennings, and thanks for watching Good Morning Dublin. Great stuff, boys.
Good stuff.
Cheers. Oh, my God.